It's trailer day. At the time of this recording, the trailer for The Voyage of the Dawn Treader is going to come out in just over 11 and a half hours. It's going to be online at midnight tonight. You want to see it, just go over to narniaweb.com. I'm sure we'll post the link as soon as it's up. I'm really hoping this trailer will put my mind at ease about a lot of things, because at the moment I'm just feeling kind of weirded out about the movie, to be honest. I just feel like there's been a lot of weird things in the news. Obviously that theater stand, which just looked bizarre, and a couple of bits we've heard, and the White Witch, and there's just something strange going on. I would just really like this trailer to put my mind at ease a little bit. And the big thing, well, obviously the big thing right now is everybody's just waiting for the trailer, but the thing that's kind of keeping us occupied during this excruciating last, 11 hours of waiting is Perry Moore's interview where he's talking about the White Witch, and he kind of hints at what her appearance is going to be like. And so they're just asking about the White Witch, and he says, I don't know what to make of this. She says, she appears right where you think she would when you read the book. In a surprising way you could never guess. I don't know what to make of that statement. Let me break this down. This is like, there are so many logical flaws and contradictions in this one sentence. I don't even know where to start. Let's see. First off, he says, she appears right where you think she would when you read the book. Let's see, I've read Dawn Treader at least a dozen times, I think. And not once did I think to myself, oh, the White Witch is going to appear. I never expected that. So right where you think she would when you read the book. Not sure what he means by that. So you're saying, oh, it's obvious. Like, it's an obvious place for the White Witch. Where else would you put her? It's right where you would expect, even though she's not in the book. Then he says, it's in a surprising way you could never guess. Okay, so it's right where you would expect, but it's in a surprising way you could never guess. I don't think I'm following him here. And I don't know, there's a part of me like this whole interview is like, Perry Moore seems like a really intelligent, articulate guy. I find it hard to believe that he means what maybe this was a phone interview or something and they misquoted him or misunderstood, took something out of context. I don't know. This interview is weird. I think I'm going to, until we have more information, I feel like I want to give Perry Moore the benefit of the doubt here and say, maybe this isn't what he said somehow. I don't know. So I don't know what to make of that. It's that she appears right where you would expect she would when she would read the book. Maybe he's saying that if I tell you, oh, the witch is going to be in the movie, which we know she is, that what's the first thing you think of? For most people, I immediately thought of the stone knife, because they find her stone knife at the end of Ramandu's Island. But the most popular theory at this point seems to be that it's maybe Edmund's nightmare when they're on the Dark Island, which I don't think would make sense. They wouldn't do that, because it totally wouldn't make sense for Edmund's character. He's conquered the witch, as we saw in the Prince Caspian scene where they had the White Witch, and he stabs her and kills her. I really feel like he's conquered that fear. He's moved on. I don't think it would be consistent with Edmund's character to do that. So I don't think they would do that. Unless we post an April Fool's joke about it or something, then maybe they would do it. And again, we posted an April Fool's joke about Caspian. It would be a Caspian and Susan romance a few years before Prince Caspian came out, and filmmakers apparently took us seriously. I mean, we make these jokes because we think they're ridiculous, not because we want you to do them. And then the big joke was, oh, they have the stone knife and the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. They could bring the White Witch back again, and it looks like they're doing it. Ah! We have to ban joking on Narnia Web. Then Perry Moore goes on, and the question is, I'm not sure if it's kind of a dumb question, is who are these filmmakers to add something like this to the story? Kind of a dumb question, I think, but Moore's answer is actually dumber. He says, C.S. Lewis himself flip-flopped on the origin of the White Witch, and then he goes on to sort of describe the two apparently different origin stories. This brings up something that has been the cause for a lot of discussion and controversy. This is an issue that came up when we were writing the Narnia Web character profiles. If you go to Narnia Web, on the right-hand side, scroll down a little bit, you'll see a link that says character profiles. Click that, then click Jadis. And if you haven't looked at the character profiles, by the way, I think they're really cool. I helped write a few of them. It's really been Fantasia, Katie, and Wise Women that have become the driving force behind them. They've written most of them. They've done a great job. I'm really happy with how these have turned out. They really put a lot of work into them. But when it came time to write the White Witch profile, I remember Fantasia, Kitty, and I having a big, long discussion about well, what do we put, and Wise Woman got in on it too, and we kind of had we couldn't really, we had all these different ideas, but couldn't really come up with a way to summarize it in one paragraph. We ultimately decided to be very honest and say, okay, the White Witch's origin is a topic of some debate. In line with The Witch in the Wardrobe, it's, Mr. Beaver does tell the Pevensies that she's half djinn and half giantess. There's no real drop of human blood in her. Then in the prequel Magician's Nephew, which Lewis wrote, 5 years later, Jadis is depicted as being the last of a humanoid race of Charn, though she's, in either case, she's not a daughter of Eve, which is the important part. Now, what I wrote is that this is what I wanted to put. I said, the apparent discrepancy can be reconciled by the idea that Mr. Beaver's story is a Narnian old wives' tale. I think it makes sense that the White Witch, the Narnians would not know her origin. I mean, why would she tell them? How would they know? But after 100 years of winter and her oppressing them, rumors and myths about her could easily spring up. So I think it could easily be the case that that when Mr. Beaver tells what he thinks is the origin of the White Witch, he's simply mistaken. Now, was that Lewis's intention when he wrote the book? I doubt it. I think it very likely that when he wrote that the dinner table scene in line with The Witch in the Wardrobe, he really did intend for that to be the witch's origin. Then later, when it came time to write the prequel, Magician's Nephew, he thought up a more interesting origin and said this would really work better for the story. Then I don't think he just flip-flopped and said, oh, I changed my mind. I think he said, let's see here. Well, I can't change it because I already wrote it in line The Witch in the Wardrobe. Then he said, well, I suppose Mr. Beaver could have been mistaken. So I'm not necessarily contradicting myself. It could just be that Mr. Beaver was mistaken. All we have is Mr. Beaver's word at this point. And how would he know her origin anyway? How would he know that she was half djinn and half giantess? It just doesn't make sense. So I think this actually makes sense. So this is not an irreconcilable difference. I'll tell you what is an irreconcilable difference, is that saying that the White Witch is going to appear exactly where you think she's going to appear, or exactly where you would expect her to appear when you read the book, and then in the next sentence saying, but at the same time, it's totally surprising in a place you would never guess. That is an irreconcilable difference, and that's what Mr. Morse, and maybe I'll feel differently when I see the movie, but I'm just reading this, I'm going, that doesn't make any sense at all. And also, he's using this example to justify why the filmmakers can make changes. I mean, I think it is okay for the filmmakers to make changes, of course. They should try to take the book, a great book, and try to make it just as great of a film that honors the heart and the core of the book. But this is not the reason that I think they had the freedom to do that. He's basically using this example and saying, hey, C.S. Lewis changed his mind about, I don't even think he did. We're saying C.S. Lewis changed his mind about the White Witch, so therefore we do too. I don't follow this logic at all. I'm so confused by this whole interview. He's saying that because the writer of the book has a right to make changes to his characters and tweak his characters that he created, that 60 years later we have the same right. That doesn't make any sense at all. I'm not following the logic at all. I don't think that Lewis flip-flopped here. I don't think there's an irreconcilable difference. But even if I can see that there is, the logic still doesn't hold up. He then goes on to say that he points out that Aslan says that evil like the witch never truly dies. Hey, someone post a comment if you know where this is in the book. I just don't remember. Maybe it's in there somewhere. I just don't remember right now. But even if that is in the book, even if Aslan says evil like the witch never truly dies, I mean, I seem to recall that being in maybe Magician's Nephew somewhere. I don't know. But even if that's in there, that's still Moore's logic still wouldn't hold up. If I said racism never dies, racism never truly dies, would that mean that racists never die? That means that if you're racist, you'll never die? No, it means racism, that kind of thing, never truly dies. So if Aslan said, a witch like hers never truly dies, that means that kind of evil that the witch represents never truly dies. It doesn't mean that the witch herself never truly dies. I think it's just, at this point it starts to sound like they're trying really, really hard to justify something. They're just, whatever argument they can come up with, they're just trying to justify it. So this is what part of the reason I'm just feeling really weird about this movie. Like, what is going on? Like, not necessarily bad, just weird. Like, there's something very odd going on with this production, and the way it's being marketed is just strange. And again, that's Fox. Don't necessarily have anything to do with the way the movie is going to turn out. There's Walden, and then there's Fox. Then right now, I'm really obviously more focused on the trailer. I'm hoping the trailer will really put my mind at ease. Again, it releases at the stroke of midnight tonight. Go to narniaweb.com. We'll have a link. Probably my next video will be a very long, detailed analysis of the trailer. Again, it's exciting because you really don't know that much about it. Considering that there's just under 6 months to go. I mean, we've seen a lot of spy pictures and a couple blogs, a couple pictures, the poster. Well, really, I haven't seen much. And so I'm really hoping the trailer will put my mind at ease. And either way, it's a very special, memorable day whenever there's a new Narnia trailer.